Hello, and welcome back to Bedtime Fables. The world is growing quiet now, as a soft, sleepy mist begins to rise from the cool earth, blanketing the world in a gentle, dreamy haze. It's time for us to find our own cozy spot, to let the busy day fade away, and to listen to a story from a world of quiet water and gentle, glowing lights. So let your breathing grow soft and slow as our adventure begins. In the heart of a great green valley, there lay a place of quiet water and ancient secrets known as the Murmuring Swamp. It was not a scary or gloomy place. It was a place of deep peace. Every evening, as the sun went to sleep, a soft, white mist would rise from the warm water, like a great sleepy sigh. It would curl and swirl in gentle, slow-motion rivers, weaving between the thick, mossy trunks of the cypress trees, and blanketing the lily pads in a cozy, damp quilt. The air here was always cool and smelled of wet earth, night-blooming water lilies, and the clean, fresh scent of a world that was constantly drinking in the moonlight. The swamp was a magical, sleepy world, and it had its own special guardian. His name was Ferdinand, and he was a very small frog with a very big job. His skin was the color of the brightest new spring leaves, and his big golden yellow eyes could see through the thickest of mists. Unlike the other, bigger frogs, who would spend their evenings singing loud, booming songs to impress each other, Ferdinand was a quiet and watchful soul. He knew that the mist, while beautiful, could also be confusing. He knew that the quiet, dark water held many twists and turns, and he knew that the smallest, most vulnerable creatures of the swamp sometimes needed a little bit of help to find their way home safely when the thickest fog rolled in. And he believed, with all his little froggy heart, that it was his job to provide that help. Ferdinand was not just a frog, he was a lantern bearer. His lantern was a very special one, a gift from the swamp itself. It was made from the soft brown, velvety head of a dried cattail, hollowed out to be the perfect size. And inside this cozy little room sat his best and dearest friend, a firefly named Flicker. Flicker was not like other fireflies who blinked and flashed in a dizzying dance. His light was a steady, constant, and incredibly bright golden yellow glow. It was a warm, unwavering light, a tiny, portable sun that could cut through the thickest fog. Flicker and Ferdinand were a team, the keepers of the light in the Murmuring Swamp. As Ferdinand, a small, young, and very brave tree frog with smooth, vibrant green skin, and Flicker, a single, large, and very bright firefly, sat on their lily pad, watching and waiting, they saw it. A new kind of mist, thicker and heavier than the usual sleepy haze, was beginning to roll in from the low hills. It was the great fog, the kind that could make a familiar pond feel like an endless, confusing sea. And then they heard it. A single, clear, high-pitched tingling, the sound of a tiny silver bell. It was the signal from the oldest turtle, the swamp's ancient watchman. The bell's call was a message to all the creatures. The fog was coming, and it was time for the little ones to find their way home. For Ferdinand and Flicker, it meant their work was about to begin. Their first task was always to visit the Tadpole nursery, a shallow, protected pool where the youngest frogs grew their legs. The great fog was already swirling over the surface of the pool, and the world beneath the water was becoming dark and confusing. A little group of tadpoles, who had wandered too far from the safety of their nursery, were lost in a scary forest of tangled roots. They swam in frantic, frightened circles, unable to tell which way led back to their warm, muddy home. Just as a little tadpole tear was about to form, a warm, golden glow appeared on the surface of the water above them. A gentle, friendly sun in their dark, watery world. Ferdinand, a small, young, and very brave tree frog with smooth, vibrant green skin, hopped onto the lily pads that marked the safe path back to the nursery. He held his lantern, with Flicker, a single, large, and very bright firefly inside, high and steady. The warm, golden light cut through the murky water, creating a clear, bright road for the tadpoles to follow. Their fear vanished, replaced by a happy curiosity. They wiggled their little tails and followed the moving light, a perfect, orderly procession of tiny, grateful swimmers. Ferdinand led them all the way back to the safety of the nursery, where they disappeared with a final happy flick of their tails into the warm, familiar mud. Next, Ferdinand heard a soft, tired sigh coming from the muddy riverbank. It was an old, slow turtle, trying to make her way up the slippery slope to her cozy bed under a fern. The fog was making the mud extra slick, and for every step she took forward, she seemed to slide 2 steps back. She was getting very tired and very discouraged. Ferdinand hopped over and shone his lantern's bright, steady beam directly onto the bank in front of her. The light from flicker, a single large and very bright firefly, seemed to make the path less slippery, showing the old turtle the best and safest places to put her strong, wrinkly feet. With a slow, grateful nod, the old turtle found her footing and plodded the rest of the way up the bank, disappearing under her favorite fern for a long and well-earned sleep. Ferdinand knew there were others who might need his help. He began his great journey across the swamp, a tiny, hopping lantern in the great, white, misty darkness. He leaped from mossy log to gnarled root, from sleepy lily pad to sturdy cattail, his golden light, a single, brave and unwavering beacon against the thick, swirling fog, a promise of safety for all the little creatures of his beloved, murmuring home. As he traveled, a new sound began to fill the air. It was the cheerful, rhythmic song of the crickets. They had been quiet during the thickest part of the fog, but now, inspired by Ferdinand's brave little light, they had begun their nightly concert. Their happy, chirping lullaby echoed across the still water, a beautiful, peaceful symphony that told every creature in the swamp that even in the thickest fog, there was still light, there was still music, and there was still nothing to be afraid of. Ferdinand listened, and his own little heart was filled with the peaceful, happy music of the night. As he hopped onto a floating log, Ferdinand, a small, young, and very brave tree frog with smooth, vibrant green skin, noticed a tiny, trembling shape clinging to a tall blade of grass. It was a mayfly, a delicate creature with wings as fine and as beautiful as spun moonlight. Mayflies are born as the sun sets and live for only a single, magical night. This little mayfly was supposed to be at the Great Mayfly Dance, a joyful, swirling celebration that took place high above the water. But the thick fog had confused her, and she had flown down instead of up, and was now lost and alone, and her one precious night was being wasted in fear. She clung to the grass, her beautiful wings drooping, feeling a deep, quiet sadness. Ferdinand saw the little mayfly's sadness. He guided his lily pad, his little green boat, right up to the blade of grass. He didn't make a sound, he simply held his lantern high, and the bright, steady, golden glow from his friend flicker, a single, large and very bright firefly, created a perfect, warm and inviting circle of light in the middle of the cold, damp fog. The little mayfly looked down and saw the beautiful, sun-like glow. Her fear melted away. She carefully unfolded her lacy wings, and with a grateful little dip of her head, she let go of the grass and began to dance. She swirled and twirled in the warm, golden air above the lantern, her one and only night now filled with the joy she had been meant to feel. As he continued his journey, he passed a patch of beautiful, night-blooming water lilies. Normally, on a clear night, their great white, star-like blossoms would be wide open to the moon. But tonight, the thick, damp fog had tricked them into thinking it was not yet time to wake. They were all still closed up tight, their beautiful perfume trapped inside. Ferdinand paused his journey and held his lantern over the largest, most beautiful lily. He bathed the sleeping flower in flicker, a single large and very bright firefly's warm sun-like glow. The flower, feeling the gentle warmth, thought the sun had come out just for her, and slowly, with a silent, graceful sigh, she began to open her magnificent white petals, releasing a wave of the most beautiful sweet perfume into the misty air as a thank you to the little lantern bearer. On a long fallen log that served as a great highway for the swamp's smallest creatures, Ferdinand came across a sleepy snail. The snail was on its way to find a particularly delicious patch of clover that grew at the end of the log, but the thick fog had made it lose its bearings, and it was heading in the wrong direction. Ferdinand, seeing its mistake, hopped ahead and placed his lantern on the log, its golden beam shining like a tiny lighthouse, pointing the way to the clover patch. The snail, seeing the clear, bright path, turned and continued its slow, steady, and now correct journey, leaving a shimmering silver trail of gratitude behind it in the golden light. He reached the very heart of the swamp, a place where the water was at its deepest and the mist was at its thickest. This was the most important part of his job. He climbed to the top of an old flat stump that stood like a little island in the water, and he held his lantern high. From here his light could be seen from all corners of the Murmuring Swamp. It was a beacon of safety, a steady, unwavering point of reference in the confusing, swirling white. Any creature that was lost, any boat that had lost its way, any little animal that was scared, could now look to the center of the swamp and see his kind, golden light, a promise that they were not alone and that a safe path was waiting. And a magical thing began to happen. The thick fog, which had been so disorienting, now became a friend. Every tiny droplet of water in the air caught the golden light from Flicker, a single large and very bright firefly, and reflected it, shattering it and spreading it until the entire swamp was filled with a soft, warm, golden haze. And then, from the reeds and the cattails, the other fireflies, who had been hiding from the fog, saw the great, gentle glow. Feeling brave, they came out and began to blink their own little lights, adding their own tiny, happy sparks to the beautiful golden mist, a great swamp-wide celebration of light. From his high perch on the tallest cypress, the oldest turtle, the ancient watchman of the swamp, watched the beautiful sight. He saw how the brave little frog and his faithful firefly had not just brought a light to the swamp, but had inspired all the other lights to shine as well. He nodded his old wise head in approval. The swamp was safe. The little ones were all on their way home. The little lantern bearer had done his job well. It was a job passed down through generations. And tonight, Ferdinand, a small, young, and very brave tree frog with smooth, vibrant green skin, had proven he was worthy of the honor. As the night wore on, a gentle breeze began to stir, a soft sigh from the world itself. It pushed and nudged at the great fog, and the thick white blanket began to break apart. It thinned into soft, wispy ribbons of mist, and then it was gone completely. The moon and the stars were once again clear and bright in the beautiful dark night sky, their own magnificent lights now able to do their work of watching over the sleeping world. The danger had passed. Ferdinand looked at his friend inside the lantern. Flicker, a single large and very bright firefly, had shone his light so steadily and so brightly for so long. The little firefly was growing tired. His brilliant beacon-like glow was softening into a gentle, sleepy, golden pulse. His work was done for the night, and he was ready for his own well-earned rest. Ferdinand knew it was time for them to go home too. Their important job was complete. With a final look around at the peaceful, sleeping swamp, Ferdinand began his journey home. He hopped from lily pad to lily pad, his movements no longer urgent but slow and calm and satisfied. The crickets were still singing their soft, sleepy lullaby, and the moon was smiling down on him. He was a small frog, but tonight he had done a very big thing. He had brought light and safety to his whole world, and his heart was full of a quiet, deep, and very happy pride. Ferdinand's home was the most beautiful lily pad in the whole swamp. It was larger than all the others, and its edges curled up just slightly, creating a perfect shallow bowl that kept him safe from any little waves the night wind might create. It was nestled in a quiet, protected cove, under the long, gentle, and drooping branches of a weeping willow tree. The willow's leaves were like a soft, green curtain, a private and peaceful room just for him. After a long night of hopping and guiding and shining his light, the sight of his own quiet, familiar, and comfortable home was the most wonderful sight in the world. He hopped onto its cool, waxy surface. With a soft, happy sigh, he was home. With the greatest care, Ferdinand placed the cattail lantern down on his lily pad. He gently untied the single blade of grass that held the top closed, and he opened the little door for his friend. Flicker, a single large and very bright firefly, crawled out slowly, his little legs wobbly with tiredness. He had shone his light so brightly and for so long, and his little firefly body was completely exhausted. His golden glow was now just a soft, warm, and gentle pulse, a sleepy, rhythmic heartbeat that said he was more than ready for a long, deep rest. He gave Ferdinand a sleepy, grateful little blink, his light flashing once, very softly, a silent "Good night, my friend." Flicker didn't have to go far to find his bed. Right next to Ferdinand's lily pad grew a small pink water lily, a special flower that always stayed open a little longer than the others. Flicker crawled onto its soft, velvety petals and snuggled down right in the center, a perfect, sweet-smelling and comfortable bed just for him. He curled his little body into a sleepy circle, and his soft golden glow made the entire pink flower light up from within, like a beautiful, magical, and living nightlight. With a final sleepy pulse, his light went out, and the little firefly was fast asleep. Ferdinand watched his friend fall asleep, his own heart full of a deep, quiet contentment. Before he went to sleep himself, he had his own little bedtime ritual. He crawled to the edge of his great green lily pad and leaned over. He cupped his sticky, orange-tipped hands together and scooped up a single, perfect and cool drop of the clean swamp water. It shimmered in the moonlight, a perfect clear jewel that held the reflection of all the stars in the sky. He took a long, refreshing drink. It was the most delicious water in the world, and it washed away the last of his tiredness from his long night's work. Now that all the little creatures were safe and his own work was done, Ferdinand finally allowed himself to sing. But his song was not like the loud, booming songs of the other frogs. He looked up at the great silver moon, who had watched over him all night, and he sang a single, soft, and gentle note. Ribbit. It was not a call for a mate or a challenge to another frog. It was a soft, gentle, and happy song of contentment. It was his own way of saying thank you to the moon, and good night to the beautiful, quiet, and magical swamp that he loved so much. The little sound rippled out across the water, a final, peaceful note in the great silent symphony of the night. And now, it is time for you to find your own cozy lily pad, your own safe and quiet place to rest. The adventures of the day are over, and the gentle, murmuring world of your dreams is waiting to welcome you. It is time to let go of all your busy thoughts, and let the deep, peaceful quiet of the night become your own special lullaby. Imagine your bed as a big, soft, green lily pad, floating gently on the calmest, most peaceful pond in the world. You can feel it holding you, rocking you ever so slightly, a slow, gentle, and sleepy rhythm. You are completely safe, completely supported. You don't have to do anything at all. Just let your body relax into the wonderful feeling of floating, drifting peacefully on a quiet, starry sea of sleep. Listen to the quiet, peaceful rhythm of your own breathing. Let it be as slow and as steady as the sleepy, chirping song of the crickets in the murmuring swamp. A long, soft breath in, filling your body with calm, and a long, quiet breath out, letting go of all the day's excitement. This gentle, peaceful rhythm is the heartbeat of the sleeping world, and it is guiding you deeper and deeper into a wonderful, restful sleep. The whole swamp is sleeping now. The tadpoles are dreaming in their muddy nursery. The old turtle is sleeping under her favorite fern. The Mayfly has finished her beautiful one-night dance and is at rest. And the little lantern bearer and his faithful light are both fast asleep, their good work done. Everything is at peace. And you can feel that deep, wonderful peace filling you up now, making you feel safe and cozy and very, very sleepy. You are so very sleepy now. Your mind is quiet. Your body is still. You are ready to let go and float away into the beautiful, peaceful, and magical land of dreams. It is a wonderful place, made just for you, where you can rest and dream and wake up in the morning feeling happy and refreshed. You are almost there, just let yourself drift. The murmuring swamp was now deep in its most peaceful slumber. The crickets had sung their last sleepy notes, and a profound, beautiful silence had settled over the water. The moon, now high in the sky, was the sole guardian, its gentle, watchful light making every dewdrop on every spiderweb sparkle like a tiny, perfect diamond. Every creature, from the biggest bullfrog to the tiniest water strider, was at rest, their day of busy swimming and buzzing and croaking done. It was the time of the night when the world holds its breath, a time of deep, restorative peace, and the whole swamp was dreaming its own quiet, watery dreams. And on his great green lily pad, Ferdinand, a small, young, and very brave tree frog with smooth, vibrant green skin, slept the deepest sleep of all. He was a hero, though he would have been too humble to ever think of himself that way. His heart was full of the quiet satisfaction that comes from helping others. He had guided the lost, comforted the tired, and brought his own special light to the darkest corners of his world. In his dreams he was not hopping but flying, soaring over a beautiful golden and completely fog-free swamp, with his friend Flicker, a single large and very bright firefly, flying right beside him, two friends on a joyful celebratory flight. The night could not last forever. After many long, peaceful hours, a subtle change began to whisper across the world. The deep velvet blackness of the sky began to soften at its eastern edge, turning a gentle shade of purple, then a soft rosy pink. The brightest stars, who had shone so boldly all night, began to grow shy, their brilliant twinkle softening into a faint, sleepy glimmer. The moon, seeing that her watch was almost over, began her slow, graceful journey down towards the waiting horizon. The world was not yet awake, but it was dreaming of the morning. Then, with a final beautiful flourish of color, the sun peeked over the edge of the world. Its warm golden light spilled across the swamp, waking everything it touched. The water lilies opened their petals with a soft, sleepy sigh. The birds in the high branches of the cypress trees began their happy, whistling chorus, a song of gratitude for the warmth and the light of a brand new day. The sleepy, magical world of the night had once again given way to the bright, cheerful, and busy world of the morning. On his lily pad, Ferdinand felt the sun's warmth and slowly opened his big golden yellow eyes. He stretched his long green legs, feeling rested and strong. On the pink flower beside him, his friend Flicker was also waking, not to start his day, but to end his night. The little firefly preened his antennae and flexed his wings, preparing for his own long daytime sleep inside the cozy safety of the cattail lantern. They looked at each other, their friendship as steady and as true as Flicker's own light. Two heroes resting after another successful night of keeping their world safe. And now, just as the brave little lantern bearer and his bright, faithful friend are settling down for their own well-earned rest, it is time for you to find yours. The busy day is over, and the gentle, murmuring world of your dreams is waiting to welcome you. It is time to let go of all your thoughts and let the deep, peaceful quiet of the night become your own special sleepy song. Imagine your bed is a big, soft, green lily pad, floating gently on the calmest, most peaceful pond in the world. You can feel it holding you, rocking you ever so slightly, a slow, gentle, and sleepy rhythm. You are completely safe, completely supported. You don't have to do anything at all. Just let your body relax into the wonderful feeling of floating, drifting peacefully on a quiet, starry sea of sleep. Listen to the quiet, peaceful rhythm of your own breathing. Let it be as slow and as steady as the sleepy, chirping song of the crickets in the murmuring swamp. A long, soft breath in, filling your body with calm, and a long, quiet breath out, letting go of all the day's excitement. This gentle, peaceful rhythm is the heartbeat of the sleeping world, and it is guiding you deeper and deeper into a wonderful, restful sleep. You are so very sleepy now. Your mind is quiet. Your body is still. You are ready to let go and float away into the beautiful, peaceful, and magical land of dreams. It is a wonderful place, made just for you, where you can rest and dream and wake up in the morning feeling happy and refreshed. You are almost there, just let yourself drift. On his lily pad, Ferdinand felt the sun's warmth and slowly opened his big golden yellow eyes. He stretched his long green legs, feeling rested and strong. On the pink flower beside him, his friend Flicker was also waking, not to start his day, but to end his night. The little firefly preened his antennae and flexed his wings, preparing for his own long daytime sleep inside the cozy safety of the cattail lantern. They looked at each other, their friendship as steady and as true as Flicker's own light. two heroes resting after another successful night of keeping their world safe. Thank you for joining us in the Murmuring Swamp at Bedtime Fables. There is always a new gentle light waiting to guide us through our next adventure. If you would like to be here for it, you can ask your grown-up to tap the subscribe button so we can all meet again. Until then, may you always have a kind light to guide you to your dreams. Good night.